Hello, welcome to episode number 2 of Macmillan Next Steps Cancer Rehabilitation's podcast. Very exciting. I'm Katie Clive and I'm the therapy assistant practitioner for the Next Steps team. And today I'm joined by one of my colleagues.
Hello, my name is Jo Sansom. I'm one of the community specialist dietitian.
And I just thought it'd be nice to record another podcast. We run several workshops and courses in this service and our team for cancer rehabilitation. And one of those courses is Recipe for Health. And we just thought we'd record a podcast, a nice casual podcast, just to see if we can get some participant feedback. And we're joined by a panel of participants who are going to introduce themselves in a minute. But Jo, do you want to just explain what the course is all about first?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Recipe for Health course is a 6-week programme that combines diet and exercise advice. So it's looking at making positive changes to your diet, your nutrition, alongside safe exercise, rebuilding fitness. Yes.
Lovely. So should we introduce our panel of participants? This is really exciting and welcome. I'm glad you're all here. Who wants to start off?
Hello, I'm Karen. I was diagnosed with breast cancer about 18 months ago. Just coming to the end of treatment when I got in touch with Next Steps.
Lovely. Thank you, Karen.
Hi, I'm Nicky. Also 18 months since I was diagnosed with breast cancer and just wanted to get... so I was midway through treatment when I contacted Next Steps.
Lovely. Thank you. Welcome.
And I'm Claire. I am approximately 18 months post secondary bowel cancer diagnosis, and towards the end of treatment was then offered the Next Steps courses, which I had previously attended. So jumped to the chance, of course.
Perfect. So welcome everyone. So we're hoping it's going to be a nice relaxed chat today, and hopefully people who are logging on to listen to this are going to find it useful and sort of ease any anxieties about attending the Recipe for Health course.
Lovely. Thank you very much. So shall we kick off with one of the first questions? So do you mind me asking what your personal reasons were for wanting to attend the course in the first place? Nicky, should we come to you?
Yeah. So as part of my treatment for breast cancer, I had a mastectomy. I also have BRCA1 gene mutation, which means I'm at a high risk of another primary breast cancer. So it's been recommended that I have another mastectomy down the line, so part of that is I would like to have reconstructive surgery. But in order to do so, I need to lose some weight. And I thought the best way to do that would be in a healthy way. And through discussions with the team, it looked like Recipe for Health was a good way to start that journey and make some lifestyle changes, which would be more sort of better for my health rather than crash dieting to try and lose weight for one surgery.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Nicky. Claire?
Well, as I said, I previously attended a Next Steps course a few years ago. It was the Back to Action course, so knew of the great work that the Next Steps teams were doing. Because this was my secondary diagnosis, I wanted to ensure that I was going to be the healthiest version of myself coming out of this second cancer journey. Obviously just to try and ensure that I didn't have a reoccurrence, and this second time round I'd had chemotherapy as well as operations, so it was more about the education around what I could and couldn't eat, as well post operation and post removal of my gallbladder, as that's obviously affected what I can eat. So yeah, those were the primary reasons.
Brilliant. Thank you.
For me, it was to get as fit and healthy as I could, because there is no guarantee that the cancer won't come back. But, if I can be as fit and healthy as I can be, then I've got a better chance of fighting it.
Brilliant. Thank you all.
Brilliant. So did any of you have any apprehensions or worries about starting the course, and how did you sort of manage these? Because obviously you don't know what you come into when you come into a brand new 6-week course, do you? So how did you
I was a bit apprehensive about, could I do it? Because obviously I hadn't done any exercise or anything for 18 months, and you lose any kind of fitness you had very quickly. So it was the sort of the ability to be able to still do some exercise, and that was a bit of a worry.
Because the course does have an hour circuit class in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that circuit class is tailored to every individual's ability. So hopefully, did you find that at a good level for you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there was an option if you couldn't take it up a level, there was an option to slow it down or do whatever. And and the Tai Chi was brilliant.
Yeah. So we did a Tai Chi and balance week, don't we?
Yeah.
And you really enjoyed that, did you?
Lovely.
Yeah.
That week was great.
It always goes down well that week, doesn't it?
I think I had apprehensions really about the nutrition side of things, because I'd come in thinking, well, I know quite a lot about nutrition. I'd sort of done, not diets, but sort of various healthy eating in the past. And I was quite fit and healthy before first diagnosis and second diagnosis. So I thought, what is there that I can be taught that I don't already know? And obviously we'll go into that. But I think that those are my initial apprehensions, I suppose. The exercise side of things, no, not so much, because I knew what I was coming into, because I'd done the Back to Action course previously. But yeah, it was more of the what else can I be taught?
Yeah,
Were you pleasantly surprised?
I was pleasantly surprised.
I think my worries coming into the course were around the expectations that I was putting on myself and the expectations that others might have from what I would get from the course. So in terms of, by the end of this, I'm going to have done this and done that, and there were going to be really high expectations of, you'll have lost this much weight and you'll have gained this much in terms of your fitness, and actually that was entirely, nobody had ever said that, so it was entirely in my own brain. But often that's where our worries come from, isn't it? And I was pleasantly surprised to discover that actually those there were no higher expectations. The expectations were very realistic, I would say.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. And we do take some outcome measures, don't we, at the beginning of the course?
Yeah.
Before you even attend the course, we take a set of outcome measures to see where you're starting from, and then we repeat them on week 5 and then on week 6 to look at the short term and longer term sort of habit changes that you might have made. So those outcome measures are generally waist circumference, weight,
Grip strength.
Thank you. Sit to stand test, and
step up
a lovely 3-minute step up test for your cardiovascular fitness, and upper limb strength test, a grip test.
Yes,
but also looking at fatigue levels as well. So there's quite a few outcome measures we look, and I think you generally will go into the outcome measures and the changes that you've made in a bit. But
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll go into that now, actually. So, can you tell us about any changes that you made sort of throughout the course as we were going along? Any maybe emotional changes or physical changes to your nutrition and exercise?
Yeah, I think, thinking back on it, made quite a few changes. Big ones being things like portions. I'm much more aware of what's considered a portion and what I need, what my body actually needs rather than what I think I need. But equally, things like I'm doing more exercise. It kind of spurred me on to join a gym and get going with doing some classes and making time for myself to get fitter and healthier again with doing exercise, but also realizing how much I do just walking to the shops with 2 toddlers, how much that's quite a lot of exercise, and things, and mentally I think probably that's where I would really see the difference, and just in terms of the cutting myself some slack and acknowledging that okay, sometimes you are gonna not fall off the wagon, but sometimes you need to have a chocolate biscuit, and that's okay, and it's you don't then need to spend the next 3 days chastising yourself for the fact that you had one.
Exactly.
And it's all about balance and moderation, and I think that's been really important for me, because I'm probably one of those people that tends to be very critical of themselves. You did a really bad thing yesterday and that's it, you're punished for the next 3 days, and it's not about that at all. And I feel like I'm probably in a better space since kind of learning that that's okay.
Yeah,
to give myself the space.
Yeah, good.
Well, I definitely portion sizes and eating. I'm eating better than I was, definitely. And the exercise was the confidence to actually get on and do some exercise. And I've kept that up. I do 3 or 4 classes a week.
That's amazing.
Which
That's
is a really big change, which is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do find that a lot actually. People, don't we, Joe, people have lost their confidence in not knowing what they should be doing and how hard they should be pushing themselves. Are they pushing themselves enough? What they can do now, because I think the perception is that people can't exercise like they used to, but actually hopefully the course has showed you that you can exercise safely, and hopefully that's taught you the right level that you can exercise at.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, just following on from that as well, that's what I found, because this is my second time round. I was trying to come into this thinking that I could do what I could do post my first operation, which was more, but this really helped to teach me that actually, again, don't beat yourself up. What I do is I do my best each week, and that coming here, you are well looked after, and you push yourself, but to a certain limit, and then you realise, well, actually that's enough. I've not needed to go any further. My heart rate's got to X, or I've done the amount of exercise that I need to do, and psychologically that really helped me much more than I had realised until sort of post the course, I think. So that really helped, from somebody coming in quite confident in what I was doing and the classes that I was doing, and the fact that I had to take a step back. It helped me then feel okay with that.
So what were the sort of, you attended 6 weeks of the course, so 5 weeks were educational based, weren't they? Half nutrition, and there was a lot of nutrition. It was half nutritional based education, and then short a bit for me on physical activity and what's safe, and how to approach it. So what were the key learning points did you take away from attending such a heavy educational based course?
I think the don't beat yourself up thing about it, which is just, you do what you can. And like Nicky said, if you fall off the wagon with something, it's not the end of the world, and it's giving you the confidence to go, okay, that's fine, and I can get over that. So I suppose that was it 80-20? You're right. Saying about 80% of the time, if you're good, or not good, healthy, you do all the healthy, balanced things, then you can actually 20% of the time, it is okay to do a little bit of what you fancy, or a treat, or whatever it is. And that's definitely you remember it and you think about it, and it stops you stressing that, oh gosh, I had that chocolate biscuit or whatever, and it just makes you think, okay, we get over that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the important messages that we try to stress on the course, isn't it? About that healthy relationship with diet and food, and being able to enjoy food again when, as a lot of people describe going through treatment, that relationship with food is very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So getting that joy back with food is quite important.
Yeah, like you said, the joy, because at times when you're going through chemo, that you don't want to eat, or you're only craving something that isn't nutritionally at all good for you, and just a big bag of crisps maybe, to then come back and go, right, okay, let's get myself back on track. I really like the Eat Well guide, the the proportion of what you would need on a plate, just to give you a little bit of a visual, to bring myself back to what good looks like, but for me it was the dispelling of myths. I think the Mythbusters were amazing, the sugar, and I got myself fixated on I shouldn't eat sugar. I was still eating sugar, but I shouldn't be eating sugar because that will feed anything else, and just those little things that you potentially read online, or pop up on social media, because obviously all of that is true. That was amazing to me, those little nuggets each week of the myth busting, and then bringing it back to fact and factual reporting really, really helped me.
Okay. Because of course it's research and evidence based, isn't it?
It is, and I think you're right, Claire. There's so much out there, isn't there, about diet and cancer, what you should and shouldn't eat, and there's a lot of making food evil, and you shouldn't be eating this, and actually it's not about that, is it? So
so it's bring that healthy relationship back, and then for me that helped me with taking that back home to my family, and just giving that information, not in a I'm telling you sort of way, but more almost a, this is what I've learned today, why don't we try and implement X or Y, and we've gone with it. Brown rice and pasta all the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think my main thing was the portions, as I mentioned earlier, and but also I think this making small tweaks to life, because they're more sustainable. If you try and make too big of a change, you end up just reverting back, and then there's the feeling of failure, and that gets you into a negative space. So trying to make little tweaks seems to be working, and I feel like I've changed quite a bit of my eating, but in a really good way. So things like just changing what I have in my sandwich, so I don't have ham anymore. I have chicken or tuna or cheese. Smoked salmon and cream cheese is a nice treat I allow myself every now and again. But when I had read online that, you can't have ham because that's really bad if you can cause cancer to come back, and I was thinking, what the heck can I swap it for? And it just seemed like a really big mountain to get over, and then through doing the course it just didn't. When I came to think about, I could have this in my sandwiches, and it just suddenly became not a mountain anymore to surmount, but like just a tiny little tweak. And I think that has made life so much easier. Anytime I think about changing something, I just think, okay, so what's a small little change I can make? What can I just swap here or there? And that just feels more manageable. And I feel like compared to 6 months ago, my diet probably looks quite different in a good way.
Yes.
I've still got further to go, but I feel good, and I feel like it's having an impact. And what else can you say, really?
We always focus on through the course, though, don't we? About little tiny tweaks, and how if you start with the tiny tweaks and add to them, and then continue to add to them and maintain them, they add up to big changes. So yeah. The tweak of the week, isn't it?
It's giving you for me as well, it's giving the not the confidence, the
Tools.
Yeah, the tools that are taking control. Because you spend so long, good 18 months, and people tell you you've got to be here, have this done, and you just go, okay, yeah, whatever. But you can't really control any of it. So actually, my health, what I eat and what exercise I do is something I can control. So that's, for me, that's been a really important part of it as well. It's that you've got the choice to make those tweaks, and you know that it's doing good, and that's definitely been a big thing.
I think control, is a big key, isn't it?
It is. When so much is out of your control, what is within your power? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how did you feel being part of a group of other participants? Because obviously you didn't know anybody when you started the course, did you? I don't think so. And I think, how many were on that course? Were it like six of you onto that course? So how did you feel sort of entering into a group environment?
For me personally, I loved it, because I find doing things on my own quite intimidating. Not great in my own space. Love people and chatting. This is my dream. And actually, I think our group was really lovely in terms of everybody brought something of themselves each week, and really shared like the challenges, the successes, and I think that it just helped to make it validate what you were feeling and how you were doing with it on a weekly basis. And you could come in going and feeling, okay, yeah, I haven't had the greatest week, but not that somebody else will be feeling the same, but you felt like part of a collective doing it together.
We were a very positive group, I think. And I think that's something that I haven't necessarily experienced in other groups or other sort of sessions that I've been into. There can be a lot of negativity, and I've always been a positive person, and throughout both of my cancer journeys I've always been very positive, and I believe it's got me to where I am and how I feel today, so I'll keep going with that. Like you, I love being part of a group. I think we all, and I learned a lot from you guys as well, because obviously I only know bowel cancer and my journey. Actually listening to you guys, I could then take forward, if I'm ever talking to people at work. I've signed up to be a Macmillan neighbour at work. I've then got a little bit of information from other people that maybe have experienced cancer in a different way, to be able to empathise that little bit more. So I absolutely loved it. I think, like you said, I think we gelled really well.
I think we had a lot of fun.
We did.
We did to make it easy for you guys.
No.
Too much.
The brain is back here. It was usually on topic though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We just sort of ran away with it as well. It was like you said, the information that you gave us, it just sparked a lot of
recipes.
Chat. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we were all foodies, so
Yeah.
it was quite easy to share recipes and chat about food as well.
Yeah.
And I think we were all quite proactive, like we were all committed to the course, because there were each week there were you had recipe books out for us to take away, and I think at least 3 of the sessions people came back in and were like, oh, I've tried this recipe from that book, it was great, I'd make these tweaks, or this was really simple, oh, that's a great family one. And then we all had constructive feedback for each other about the recipes we tried and things, which was just you just feel like you want to try it then. If somebody else has tried it and gives you a good recommendation, you then think, oh yeah, I'll give that a go.
Brilliant.
And so I feel like we all just everybody was committed, really, weren't they, to giving it their best shot and having a really good go, but at doing it at the level that they felt able to. I don't feel like any of us were being pushed out of our comfort zones. We were all quite accepting and respectful of each other's levels, which was just felt supportive, didn't it?
It did.
I mean, the course is all about making changes to make your future more sort of, more positive, more healthy, from a fitter, stronger nutritional point of view. So it is more about looking into the future as opposed to looking what you've been through.
Yeah.
So I think that comes with a positive sort of spin on things, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're 3 months post the end of our course as well, aren't we? And
We are,
we're still putting into place the same things that we had at the end of the course, and more. I feel like you feel so much better in myself. I was bloated. I sort of started feeling ill in the mornings because I was eating too late. I was eating the wrong things. I definitely feel so much better in myself now.
It's really nice, don't you?
Yeah.
Great, lovely. And as previous groups as well, you guys set up your own WhatsApp group, didn't you?
Yeah.
How did you find that benefit, and are you still all in contact?
The group's still active, and there's occasionally messages between us. I think it's dropped off a little bit since the beginning of the year, but I think it was useful kind of while we were on the course, kind of sharing things we were doing during the week, and kind of being that support. And I'm aware that the group is there, and I'm kind of, I don't know, just that they're there if I wanted to sort of go, hey guys, I've just found this. What are your thoughts on that in terms of, so it feels like a sounding board if I feel like I've read something that's a bit myth-like.
Yeah. We've had some great recipes shared as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Nikki shared an amazing bread recipe from a bread maker, so I made various loaves, and then eaten them as well.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's all right. So not all in one go.
Moderation.
So all moderation. But yes, I think the recipe sharing has been great, hasn't it? But there've been podcasts that we've shared as well.
Yeah, and walking apps and things like that. Yeah.
Stretching, you shared the stretching with me.
Oh yeah, the breast stretches that we were given on breast stretch course.
Yeah.
Because they're just good for loosening up all that neck and shoulders. And they're really, really quick, so you can do them like at your desk when you're working to just sort of loosen things up a little bit. At least that's what I would do. Like, try and remember to do now. I say try.
So what? I'm just going to ask you to sort of like think about what's your overall experience being. How would you sum it up into a few words? Attending a Speak for Health course.
I think it's given me the confidence to go and do more exercise, because I realise that I still can do it, and the control. Yeah, it's made me more positive. That I can do this. I can change this. It's down to me, and it's been brilliant. It really has.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. It gave me the probably kick up the bottom I needed to get out and go back to the gym. and find some exercise classes. I came out of the very first session and I literally sat at home for an hour researching my local gyms to find one that had the classes I wanted to do.
I remember you coming back that next week.
Yeah, so it's the gym. I'm off. But it just, I think, just doing that first session just gave me the you can go and do this, and you absolutely should. And I did. But I think also it's when I look back at where I'm thinking I've been doing a lot of reflection about where I was and where I am now, and I think I had initially kind of done the whole, I'm not allowed to have this, and I won't be allowed to have that, I can't have that, and I can't have that, and I can't have that. And at the time I kind of did the whole, well, I won't give all that up. I want to eat what I want to eat because I've been through hell and back, and I should be allowed to have whatever I like. And now actually I'm looking at what I'm eating now, and I don't miss the stuff. I've cut some of the things out, and I don't miss them. And but occasionally I'll let myself have them because that's okay. And it's just a total shift, and I'm now no longer rebelling against what I can't have, and it's just I don't need to. I don't need to have it, and I was purely rebelling because I wanted control, and I didn't want somebody telling me what I could and couldn't have anymore. But now I've made that choice myself to eat or not eat those things. It's a totally different shift, and I feel like Recipe for Health gave me the power to make those decisions for myself, and make them for the right reasons, and not because somebody else was telling me I had to.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I love the fact that I've got all this information to hand still. So if I am having a bit of a wobble and I've fallen off, I always call it fall off the wagon, but if I've had a couple of days where I've not eaten as I wanted to eat, I've got that information there. But psychologically, it's just helped me. It really sort of helped me pull things back to the very basics of, okay, if you eat well and if you're moving, and you're trying to do as much as you can, that is okay.
That's really nice.
And that's what really came out of it for me, because I think I was just trying to do too much too soon, and it just it just wasn't working. But I used to love coming to these sessions every week, and would come bouncing out afterwards, after doing the exercise as well, but with the information that I've been given. And I think it's just the information that you can take back to your family, I think is really, really valuable.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, so one final question then. If you knew somebody that was thinking about attending Recipe for Health, wasn't sure, what would you say to them?
Do it.
Just give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
What's the worst that can happen? You can come along and you might, that the information that you're given is great, but you might not want to be in a group setting. Is it that it's just not right at the time, and that you can come back into it? But nothing's permanent, is it? You can always step away. So anyone that is slightly anxious, you're with people that have been through a similar journey. They know, you can have that quick chat about what you've been through, and actually someone else will, resonate with you. So you give it a go.
But I think in terms of giving you back, I think we had chatted about it before, and felt that this was probably the most proactive thing we'd done as part of our recovery, in terms of, I think, taking back control of our lives, and it not being about being done unto by the medical professions, which obviously they have to do because they're doing very amazing work and things, but there comes a point where you need to take back control of your life, and I think Karen and I were talking and felt that this was the most proactive thing we'd done to kind of take back the reins of our lives and go, I'm in control again now, and I get to say what happens next.
I would also
powerful.
It's also a very good segue. Not segue. I don't know what the word is. Away from when you finish treatment, but you're going back into just sort of normal everyday life. This is a nice way to ease you back in.
It's like a stepping stone.
It is a stepping stone, really. I would say that it was still treatment for me, because I'd got to that stage of, I finished everything, what's next? And I think I was in that limbo again. I come back to the psychological element of it, where I just sort of was a bit all lost at sea, but actually having this to focus on, and then focus on myself, like you said about the control, really, really helps. It's a lovely sort of step back into normality, or whatever normality is going to be like for you post your journey.
Yeah, echoing all that. Definitely.
I think that's summed it up really well. It's been so lovely, I must say, from somebody who's run this course since we wrote it and developed it 8 years ago, 9 years ago, Jo. It's really nice to hear the feedback actually, and hear of all the amazing changes and what you've done, and that you're keeping it going and it's still having an impact. So yeah, it's really amazing to hear that. Anything you want to say, Jo, to finish?
No, I think absolutely. I think you've all summed up how you do need to take a step back sometimes, break things down, make them right for you, make the changes personal for you, rather than, as you say, being told what to do. Actually, what's going to work for you and your lives and families. So it's nice to hear that you've been able to pull from it what you need to at that time, and that you're all still making changes, which is lovely to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for all coming in and participating in the second.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, still having us back.
It's been fun. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.